Hi, this is William here, and today we're going to talk about microdata guidelines. So, this article describes the basic microdata guidelines that Google and other search engines look for on your website. So, what is microdata? Microdata is the WGHTML spec used to nest semantics within existing content on web pages. Search engines, web crawlers, and browsers can extract and process microdata from a web page and use it to provide a richer browsing experience for users. Microdata helps technologies such as search engines and web crawlers better understand what information is contained in a web page, providing better search results. Microdata is an attempt to provide a simpler way of annotating HTML elements with machine-readable tags than the similar approaches of using RDFA and microformats. The HTML microdata spec. The HTML5 microdata spec is a way to label content to describe a specific type of information, for example, reviews, person information, or events. Each information type describes a specific type of item, such as a person, an event, or a review. For example, an event has properties: venue, starting time, name, and category. Microdata uses simple attributes and HTML tags, often span or div, to assign brief and descriptive names to items and properties. Here's an example of a short HTML block showing basic contact information for Bob Smith. So div, my name is Bob Smith, but people call me Smithy. Here's my home page, and it gives an href to the URL, and then www.example.com. And I live in Orlando, Florida, and work as an engineer at ABCD Corporation. And then with the div. Here's the same HTML marked up with microdata. Div item scope item type is equal to the URL person. My name is span item prop equals name Bob Smith in span, but people call me span item prop equals nickname Smithy. Here's my home page. Aref equals the example.com. Item prop is the URL www.example.com. I live in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and work as a spam item prop title engineer in span at span item prop equals affiliation Acme Corp span in div. Here's how this works. In the first line, item scope indicates that the content in the div is an item. Item type equals the URL person indicates that the item is a person. Each property of the person item is identified with the item prop attribute. For example, item prop equals name describes the person's name. Nested entities. The example above shows contact information about Bob Smith, but it hasn't included his address. The example below shows the same HTML, but in this case includes the address property. If you look at the fifth line, you'll see that the span item prop equals address item scope. So in using that, you can actually define where he lives. And here's how that works. The address property is in itself an item containing its own set of properties. This is indicated by putting the item scope attribute on the item that declares the address property and using the item type attribute to specify the type of item being described. Like this, span item prop equals address, item scope item type equals URL address. Date and time information. Specify dates and times unambiguously. Use the time element with the date time attribute. Here's the start date property indicates that the start date of an event. The value is the date time attribute specified using the ISO date format. Using this format lets you provide search engines with detailed date, time, and optionally time zone in ISO format, such as 2009-10, 15T, 1900-800. And while still displaying the date on your page in a user-friendly way, 15th of October 2009, 7 p.m. The time item prop equals start date. Date time 2009 10:15. T 19 minus 8 15th of October 2009, 7 p.m. So non-visible content. In general, Google won't display content that is not visible to the user. So in other words, don't show content to users in one way and use hidden text to mark up information separately for search engines and web applications. You should mark up the text that actually appears to users when they visit your web pages. There are a few exceptions to the guideline. In some situations, it can be valuable to provide search engines with more detailed information, even if you don't want that information to be seen by visitors to your page. For example, if a restaurant has a rating of 8.5, users do not search engines. So in this case, you can indicate using the meta element like this. Division item prop equals rating, item scope, item type, URL rating, rating span item prop equals value, 8.5, and then meta item prop best content 10. So here's how that works. The meta tag is used to specify additional information that is not visible on the page, in this case the fact that the best possible rating is 10. The value of the property is specified using the content attribute, and similarly, providing the duration of event in ISO duration format can help ensure that it appears correctly in search results like this. The duration span 1 hour 30 minutes, meta item prep equals duration. The content is PT 1 hour 30 minutes, and the end span. And here's how that works. Use the meta tag to specify the value of the property, in this case a duration. This allows you to use the value of the content attribute, PT 1 hour 30 minutes, to specify the duration in ISO 8601 duration format, while still displaying the duration in user-friendly text, 1 hour 30 minutes, on the page itself. Google looks at the parent element and the meta element to identify what information that is being represented in an alternate way inside the meta tag. So in this case, it's important to make sure that the immediate parent node of the meta tag wraps around the text 1 hour 30 minutes. And that concludes the presentation on Mircodata Guidelines video. This is William, and I'll see you the next time.